Welcome to Sludge, the weekly show that's so low effort, I can literally put giant audio errors in the video and not care about it. I would apologize for everyone who was made deaf in the previous one, but I'm not sorry. I am actually a little bit. It was very unprofessional of me. But also, it was OBS's fault, and I just didn't notice. This week, we're not going to be talking about how I actually have this coming out the week after I was supposed to, and not, you know, the week it was supposed to come out. We're going to be talking about daily quests. Daily quests are a kind of weird phenomenon that's popped up in a bunch of different games. If you don't know, a daily quest is basically a specific quest that you have to do every single day. They're mostly found in massively multiplayer online games. Final Fantasy XIV has a bunch of different daily quests, for example. But with the era of the Battle Pass very much upon us, daily quests have begun to weed their way into a bunch of different games. Fighting games, of course, being one of them. Both Granblue Fantasy Versus and Tekken 8 actually have daily quests for you to complete that link to their battle passes. Now, daily quests are pretty crap in both of these games. Both of them reset every 24 hours, and both of them give you a pretty decent buff towards the battle pass. The entire idea of a daily is to get you to come back and play the game every single day. That way you basically become addicted and you keep playing and blah 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 blah. Retention go up, good for video game. Who'da thunk it? However, in my opinion, dailies could be very interesting. Have any of you been watching Solo Leveling? It's pretty decent. I have some problems with it, but we're not here to actually talk about the show, we're here to talk about the daily quest in that show. If you don't know, the way that works is a guy basically has like JRPG powers, and he has a daily quest that he needs to complete. He needs to do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and run 10 kilometers. When he does this, he gets a little reward, which can be a bunch of different things. It's literally called a loot box. And if he doesn't get it done, he gets sent to a really bad place where he has to fight some giant fucking bugs. I'm sorry for spoiling the first 2 episodes of Solo Leveling to you. Well, actually, it's the first, like, 3 because the pacing of the show is whack. Anyway, besides the point. The daily quests literally make him stronger. Like, actually, they are physical exercise. They are something that he is able to use to become a better person. These daily quests directly benefit him. So why couldn't we make daily quests in a video game that directly benefit the player? I'm not talking about quests that, like, do your taxes or make your food. I'm talking about daily quests that make you more skillful at the game. Or at least are more interesting than just play X amount of matches. Doing a real good job of disguising what you're trying to do there, Bandai, huh? Well, how would we do this? How would we make daily quests more interesting and, most importantly, more rewarding? But how would we do this? How would we make daily quests more interesting and also make you a better player at the game? Well, to do that, we're going to have to dissect these dailies into 2 different things. With dailies, you have the actual daily quest that you need to complete, and you have the reward. This is a pretty typical way to design basically anything in a video game. You have the obstacle in which you need to overcome, and you have the reward at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to talk about both of these separately, because while the reward doesn't exactly tie into what we're talking about, I still want to talk about it. But the quests themselves could be a lot more interesting. Right now, most daily quests in fighting games are literally play X amount of matches. I think the Tekken ones are play X amount of matches, win X amount of rounds, and do X amount of damage. Which, yeah, anyone can, like, do that, but it's not very interesting, and I'm not really engaged while I'm doing it. These are what I like to call passive quests. They're quests that you just kind of complete by passively playing the game. I will play X amount of matches if I keep playing. I will do X amount of damage if I keep playing. I will probably win X amount of matches if I keep playing. It's just how it is. Granblue also has this with their quests, but they're less generic. A lot of them are like, land a super, land 66L, do X amount of damage. Okay, so they're basically the same thing. But I feel like there could be a lot more interesting. Here's the thing, though. There is a reason that these quests are quite generic and quite passive. A lot of the time, developers don't exactly want you to be thinking about your quest while you're doing it. And they definitely don't want you to have to go out of your way to complete the daily. They just want you playing the game. If you make daily quests too specific, you can make it so that they're more of an inconvenience than just something to activate your dopamine triggers. Like, you could make a quest like while playing as Lorraine, eat 10 food, but then all you're gonna get people doing is going as Lorraine and spamming food. You're gonna make people who don't play Lorraine annoyed, and you're gonna make people who play Lorraine roll their fucking eyes, because that's still easy. You kind of just end up annoying everyone. You basically have, oh cool, I have to fight X amount of Lorraines today. And if it's too weird and obscure, no one's gonna do it. You can't be like, hey, land this exact combo in a daily, because no, I don't want to land that exact combo. So how do we go about this? Well, while sticking to fighting games specifically, players generally want to play one specific character, right? That's the whole reason of them having names. So how about we make it about their character? Tekken 8 already kind of has a framework with this when it comes to the arcade quest mode. You basically get to pick your character and the game designs its tutorial around the character you're playing. So make a daily around it. At the start of the day, you can pick whichever character you want, probably the one that you're gonna play for that day, and the game goes, okay, here's this move, and this move. Hit them. Also while you're at it, hit the super. Also, while you're at it, hit this amount of damaging in a combo. With the moves being kind of random, you can make the players go out of their comfort zone on their own character in order to figure out how those moves work. This doesn't just have to be with Tekken. Let's say that Guilty Gear Strive had dailies, and Baiken has a daily quest, and it's to land 4 aerial tatamis. This is something that you just kind of do in the game anyway. You'll go and you'll use IAD Tatami Mat for your safe jump pressure. And you can also super jump back IAD Tatami, you know, to keep the opponent from just running at you. So telling players, hey, you should use this move is something that a good Baiken will automatically do, and it'll make a person learning Baiken try to figure out how to use the move better. Because let's be real, if you just spam jump Tatami Mat, you're gonna die. This is the way that a lot of players try to learn characters, at least decent players. They find specific moves and they go, how can I use this? Where does this go? What do I do with this move? So making everyone kind of do that on a daily could be nice. And also probably make you think more about your character's moves than you generally do. Let's be real, everyone who plays any character ever has that one move that they just don't use enough. Apart from me, I use all the Baiken moves all the time. Unless your name is 5D. I think this idea could be pretty good with some implementation, could be very interesting depending on the game, and most importantly, it could get players to really think about how their character works. The closest thing I can think to this being in an actual game is, did you ever play the TF2, like, script missions, whatever they were called? They were like contracts, and you had to pick a specific character that you want, and it tailored it around that. It could be something like that, but with more specific moves. More like the weapon contracts than, like, the character contracts, I guess. You know what I mean, you're fucking smart. But it doesn't matter how good your daily is if the reward for the daily sucks. Let's be real, most people don't do their dailies because doing dailies is fun. Most people do their dailies because their dailies gives them something that they want. Most Final Fantasy XIV players don't do their dailies because it's fun. Most Final Fantasy XIV players do their dailies because it gives them tomes for endgame gear. Most people in Battle Pass games do the dailies in the Battle Pass because it gives them Battle Pass points. So what would we do to get people to do this then? Well, I don't want more battle passes. I think they're kind of annoying. So we'd have to think of something else. And if I am entirely honest, I have no idea what that would be. If I was to think of a different way to do it, you know how like Tekken 7 had the weird arcade battle, like the treasure battle thing? And you would go and when you beat something, you got a piece of like cosmetic gear? Have your dailies give you a piece of that cosmetic gear. Just have them throw it out. And it's like, if you want this gear, you're gonna have to do your dailies. Go do your dailies. You like customizing your character, right? Yeah, you do. Go get your fucking dailies. And maybe if you do a certain amount, you get like a card that can get you any one that you want. So then if you're like, I just really want this one thing, you can do X amount of dailies. And congratulations, you have that new costume piece. Orange Strive, the only real things that it can give you is currency, which kind of useless, or character level, and I think these might be enough of an incentive for people to use them. Like, especially when you're not Celestial, it's very hard to get character level, so being able to do your dailies to get a little bit of character level would be nice. And also, just a way to get, like, newer accounts to boost their fishing would be great. Both of these are good ideas until you realize that they're kind of exploitable anyway. I don't know, man. This is something that the developers of the games themselves would have to figure out. I'm just a silly man on a YouTube channel. But I really think that dailies can be used for just more than I want to get Battle Pass points. And more importantly, I'd rather have daily missions be something that actually helps the player than just try to get them to play the game more. Let's be real, the best thing about fighting games for most people is trying to level up yourself and trying to get better at these games. So having a system that kind of aids you in a very subtle nudge way would be kind of nice. Granted, this could suck if your character has some really bad moves. I can imagine if you played Bridget and you got Connect 5 Air Rock the Babies, you'd probably want to shoot yourself. But it could be something that could make you reconsider how your character plays and even get you to play more playstyles of your character. I don't know, man. I just like the idea of dailies. Little quests and little things that I can focus on that isn't just win the game always help me. So having that as an actual thing in the game would be nice. Do you see the vision? Am I just rambling like an idiot? Do you get it? I hope you get it. You're kind of smart. I think you get it. That's all I really have to talk about this week. This definitely came about because of the actual video that I made on my main channel, which you should check out. And while you're here, you should like, comment, and subscribe, because if we're being shameless, we're gonna go all out with it. I will definitely see you next week. I guess Tuesday is now the day that these videos release. I'm glad I could finally figure that out. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the sludge, and I'll see you all next week.